And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, live from Veterans Field. And what has been a picture-perfect day on Cape Cod. I am Thomas, and along with my broadcast partner.
Is scouting you. Thank you, Amalia Alexander, for tonight's first pitch. Well done.
As first pitch is almost here from Chatham, as the Mariners look to continue their winning ways after a fantastic win for the Mariners yesterday, and it was a 10-8 victory in 11 innings over the Orleans Firebirds. Mariners' record now is 9-7-1 on the year. They are tied with YD in first place. As also we take a look at the pitching matchup tonight for the Harwich Mariners. It is Jack Dreyer on the mound, going against Dan Hammer for the Chatham Anglers.
Yeah, so Jack Dreyer has had some solid appearances so far this season. His first outing versus Hyannis, he pitched 4 2/3 innings of work, allowed just 3 earned runs, and in that start, he started off very nicely, first 3 innings or so, ran into some trouble in the 4th and 5th. We'll have to see how he does once he reaches those later innings.
And definitely the later innings are something going to be important, as yesterday, Tom Sutera came on for relief, and we saw Meziaza come on, and they were just fantastic. It was just a couple early innings. And what do you think the keys of the game for the Mariners this season? They want to continue their winning ways as they face Chatham.
They need to continue to get hits. Last night they had 17 hits. They still left 15 runners on base, though. So the Mariners are going to need to do a better job still driving in runners in scoring positions. So we'll see if they can do that. If they can, they should be able to win this game tonight.
As we step aside just for a second as the national anthem is about to be sung.
Both Bonnie and Marilyn are active in the Chatham Harwich Newcomers Club and lead an interest group for the club called Music Merriment. The goal of the group is to make music accessible and fun for everyone. With tonight's national anthem, Bonnie Brenner and Marilyn Sink.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Bonnie Brenner and Marilyn Sink from the Chatham Harwich Newcomers Club. Outstanding job.
And welcome back inside Veterans Field as the Harwich Mariners look to take on the Chatham Anglers as we take a look around the diamond first in the field for the Anglers.
In the field for the Chatham Anglers, in left field is McGee, in center is Jones, and right is Fogel. At third base, Arenas. At second base is Fryman. At shortstop, Woolley. At first base is English. Behind the plate is Kale. And on the mound is Dan Hammer.
So Dan Hammer, the starter for the Anglers, who have to face off a lineup of the Harwich Mariners that recorded 17 hits yesterday and the 10-8 win over the Orleans Firebirds back at Eldridge Park. So back-to-back road games for the Mariners. And leading things off is Chris Gallen, who's back in the lineup tonight, playing left field. Danny Casals, the shortstop, batting second. Batting third is Aaron Shunk, the third baseman out of Georgia. And then the cleanup spot is Andre Lipsius. Batting fifth is Nate Eichhoff, the second baseman. And the sixth hole is the Hoosier, Matt Gorski, playing center field. Gabe Rivera batting seventh. Logan Driscoll, the catcher out of George Mason, the eight hole. And running at the bottom is Ben Norman, the designated hitter.
On the mound tonight is Dan Hammer. And as we said in the pregame show, it's been a tale of two seasons for Dan Hammer. Back at Pittsburgh, Hammer was not great. He had an ERA over 6. But since arriving in Chatham, he's allowed 2 hits and 8 2/3 innings of work. He's been outstanding.
As the first pitch by Gallen is swung on a chopper back over to Hammer. He's able to nab it and underhand toss it to first base for out number 1. And we're underway here from Veterans Field. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Hammer. Hammer, who's making his third appearance on the Cape. Except before making his first start. As Casal steps in from the right side. He was the hero yesterday. Hit the go-ahead 2-run home run as he shows bunt, but pitch misses for a ball.
Also had an RBI double in the 8th inning as part of the 4-run comeback in the top of the 8th that forced extra innings.
So nobody on and 1 out as the 1-0 finds the outside corner for a strike to Casals. Casals gets the nod from shortstop this evening. We've seen him play second, a little bit of third, moving all around the infield. Miller from the windup. The 1-1 got on and fouled off towards the third base line. So Hammer gets the sign. The 1-2 to Casals. Curveball is lined over the second baseman's head. Woolley, he leaped up in the air, but just not tall enough as Casals continues the hot streak and able to get a 1-out single here in the top half of the first.
Yeah, coming into yesterday's game, Casals had fallen cold, but since yesterday's game with the RBI double, the home run, and then here with a single in the top of the first inning, he's been moved all the way up to the second in the lineup.
Sometimes it's just finding confidence at the plate, and when you have a big moment like Casals had yesterday, you can come in the next inning and continue to rake from the plate. So 1 man on with 1 out. It is the third baseman, Aaron Shunk, out of Georgia. He swings to the first pitch and fouls that one off towards the parking lot area. And clank, it hits off a, looks like maybe the outhouse shed over there.
I'm down the left field line tonight. I hope I'm not hit. I'm not in too much danger, I don't think.
It could be. I mean, ball can travel out here the way these players have been hitting them as the 0-1 a Shunk. Off-speed pitch just misses the bottom of the zone for a ball. Count evens up now at 1-1 on Shunk.
Shunk hitting .381 so far on Cape Cod. He's 8 for 21. Also drawn 1 walk, just struck out twice.
Went 3 for 6 with a run and an RBI in yesterday's win. As the 1-1 is swung on, roll over towards third. Scooped up over back to first. Double play. Arenas to Woolley to English. 5-4-3 is how you mark that one down. So Hammer gets a double play to the end of the half inning at the end of the top half of the first inning. 0-0 score. Listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
organic ingredients.
And welcome back inside Veterans Field after a scoreless top half of the first inning, and thanks to the double play ball induced by Hammer, as the Anglers will come to the first time this inning. However, look around the diamond first for the Mariners.
In left field is Chris Gallen. In center field, Matt Gorski. In right field is Rivera. From third base to first base, Shunk, Casals, Eichhoff, and Lipsius. And behind the plate is Logan Driscoll. He's doing the catching for Jack Dreyer.
As the Anglers lineup will go as follows: Greg Jones, the center field, leading things off. Jorge Arenas batting second. Tristan English, the sweet swinging first baseman in the 3-hole. And the cleanup spot is Adam Fogel, the right fielder, and batting fifth is Rankin Woolley, the second baseman. Mendoza, the designated hitter, batting sixth. Nick Kale doing the catching tonight is batting seventh. And the 8-hole is Ashton McGee, the left fielder. And right at the bottom is Brandon Fryman, the shortstop.
The leadoff hitter, Greg Jones, will be stepping in shortly. He's been feast or famine. He had 4 hits versus Falmouth on Tuesday, but yesterday he couldn't hit anything. He was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. So again, he's had some outstanding games this year. He's had other games where he's struggled mightily.
And Dreyer's making his second start this year. Remember, his first appearance was a start in Hyannis. He cruised for the first couple of innings, just ran into a little trouble in the fourth, and kind of doesn't reflect his outing, as the first pitch to Jones is right down Main Street for a strike. Dreyer, the left-hander, fires another fastball there on the outside corner this time for a strike. Quickly at hitter 0-2 on Greg Jones, the center fielder. Jones out of UNC Wilmington fouls the 0-2 off towards the on-deck circle. Funny thing is, his hometown is Cary, North Carolina, where Team USA was meeting down there. Where Team USA is a baseball facility. As the 0-2 from Dreyer, pitch is swung on a ground out over towards Casals. Casals picks it up, sets his feet throw on the first, is in time. And leadoff man Jones is retired for out number 1.
Casals playing at shortstop tonight. Traditionally, Tanner Morris has played at shortstop. Casals has been at second. But tonight, Nate Eichhoff gets a start at second base. And Danny Casals at short. Eichhoff has been a utility guy. He's played at first, second, third, and left field. No matter where the Mariners need him, he will be.
And the first pitch to Jorge Arenas runs outside for a ball, and actually Lipsius over at first has played a little shortstop back at Tennessee. He's also another guy that can play anywhere. It's always good to feature yourself as a versatile player, as the 1-0 is fouled back into the screen for a strike.
Exactly, because especially once you get to the higher levels, when you reach, minor league baseball and then eventually the MLB, it's very, very hard to play at the middle infield. It's something that not many players can do. So if you can be not only a middle infielder, but you can play first base, you can play the corner outfield, all of a sudden you open yourself up and teams will be like, okay, well, we might not be able to use them at second base or short, but we can use them at first base.
Fastball runs up and outside for a ball. Count is 2-1. As the 2-1 pitch to Arenas is swung on and fouled off towards the first base side, out of play. Count even back up now at 2 balls and 2 strikes on the second hit at Arenas. So nothing score here in the bottom half of the first inning from Veterans Field. First time these two teams are playing each other this year. The 2-2 curveball just slips out of the hands of Dreyer as count runs full on Arenas.
Well, Arenas has struggled to get hits to the plate. He's just 3 for 21. He's added 5 additional walks. So he's found ways to get on base.
As the 3-2 is swung on up the middle, picked up by Eichhoff. Eichhoff sets his feet, throw on a first, is in time. And 2 up, 2 down so far for Dreyer.
Now batting for Chatham, the first baseman from Georgia Tech, number 12, Tristan English.
As coming up now for the Anglers is probably the most dangerous hitter in this Angler lineup. It is Tristan English, the first baseman. English out of Georgia Tech. See a couple of Georgia Tech guys, obviously Joey Bart, but also playing on the Cape has been Nomar Garcia Power for Orleans. Mark Teixeira also played at Georgia Tech. Joey Bart just last year for Harwich.
When you mentioned that Tristan English is a dangerous hitter at the plate right now, He has hit a home run in each of his last 3 games.
As the 1-0 is swung on a grounder just to the left side of Dreyer. Dreyer picks it up and scooped. Underhand scoop over to first is in time. So 1-2-3 inning worked by Dreyer. So after 1 inning, score is still not up at 0-0. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Cape Cod Chair Company chair with the
And
Chatham
welcome back
Antlers
inside
logo.
Veterans Field
Big Ed
for
will
inning
give you
number
all the
2.
details.
So 0-0 score after 1 full inning. And due up for the Mariners is the 4, 5, 6 hitters. As Andre Lipsius, he had himself a day yesterday back in Orleans. He just feasted at Eldridge Park.
He was only 2 for 3, but he reached base 6 times. He had 4 walks, 2 of the intentional variety, had a 2-run home run and a single.
As the first pitch runs up and in, as he backs out for a second, takes inside for a ball.
So the batting average itself won't go up that much, but the on-base percentage definitely did with the 4 walks.
The 1-0 is check swing and fouled back into the screen behind home plate for a strike. Counting back up now at 1-1. And what's been another humid day here on the Cape. Wind blowing out into about a little bit towards right center field. Sun beginning to set here from Veterans Field. Temperature around the low 80s. 1-1 pitch catches the outside corner for a strike. 1-2 on Ellipsius.
Not as humid as it was last night, though, when my phone had, water, moisture all over it because of the humidity. I don't even know if I've ever had that.
The 1-2 to Lipsius is swung on and chopped over towards Woolley at second. Woolley scoops it up, throw on the first, and Lipsius retired for out number 1.
And the mouse from our computer had a ton of moisture on it. I mean, anything that could have had moisture on it in last night's game.
We saw a little bit of fog as well over in right field, and honestly, Chatham well known for its fog because, it can be foggy in Chatham. You drive 10 minutes down to Orleans or Harwich, and it'll be perfectly sunny there. So just right off the water here on Chatham. As the left-hander, Eichhoff swings to the first pitch. He bounces one over towards Woolley. Woolley scoops up again and on the run throws. And Eichhoff is retired here, so 2 quick outs for the Mariners.
Well, it's a rare out versus Nate Eichhoff. Eichhoff came into this 6 for his last 9 at the plate.
So with 2 outs here, score still knotted up at 0-0 here with 2 outs. In the top half of the second inning, standing in now is the center fielder Matt Gorski, who substituted in for Cam Thompson yesterday. Finished 2 for 4 with a run and RBI. And yesterday's win takes a first pitch strike at the knees.
I think it's important to emphasize just how efficient Dan Hammer has been to start this game. He has thrown just 14 pitches and recorded 5 outs.
He's really been attacking these hitters, and Harwich also maybe trying to swing at the first couple of pitches. That fastball counts. He's mostly been throwing. It's just like that as a fastball catches the lower part of the zone for a strike. Gorski's in the hole now, 0-2. Hammer from the windup, the righty-righty matchup. Curveball bounces in the dirt as a waste pitch to Gorski. Gorski did strike out twice yesterday. Those were his 2 outs as the 1-2 comes up and in, almost hits Gorski. Did have a couple of key hits with an RBI double. He came around to score back in the 8th and a single in the 11th.
He was part of the doubles parade that took place in the top of the 8th inning, as you mentioned.
The 2-2 to Gorski. Curveball on the outside half for a strike, and Gorski goes down looking as Hammer works another 1-2-3 inning. Score at the end of 1.5 is 0-0. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
The right fielder.
And welcome back inside the Veterans Field for the home half of the second inning. As the Anglers look to strike first in this game. After a scoreless first inning for Dreyer, he's back on the bump for another inning of work. He'll face Adam Fogel, Rankin Woolley, and Drew Mendoza. As the first pitch to Fogel is swung on and fouled back into the screen.
Dreyer worked a pretty quick first inning, just 12 pitches thrown. It's important for him to get off to a good start. He struggled in a couple of his relief appearances early on. His last start, he started off very nicely and then struggled in the later innings. So he had a solid first inning. Let's see how he does in the second and third. And then once he hits the back end of the outing, whether it be the 4th, 5th, 6th inning, we'll have to see if he can continue to pitch well.
As the 0-1 is swung on and fouled off out of play on the first base side. Fogel hails out of the University of Hawaii. A couple of MLBers. Stephen Wright for the Red Sox. Pitched here on the Cape for Orleans, as well as Colton Wong, who won the MVP here. Second baseman Hawaii plays for the Cardinals now. As the 0-2 pitch just runs outside for a ball. So count is 1-2 on Fogel. Dreyer from the windup. The 1-2. Curveball catches the inside half, and Fogel goes down looking. So Dreyer picks up his first strikeout here in the second inning. As there is one away here in the bottom half of the second inning. 0-0 score from Veterans Field. For those of you just joining us, I'm Thomas Insrael alongside my partner Austin Rooney. Harwich looking to continue their winning ways after a 10-8 win in Orleans yesterday. What was a thrilling game where they're down 8-2, came all the way back and ended up winning 10-8 as the first pitch to Woolley is swung on and missed upstairs.
Fogel was cold over the previous 3 games, but had a pretty solid game last night, was 2 for 4.
The 0-1 is swung on and fouled back into the screen as Dreyer's ahead again in that 0-2.
And as we've been talking about earlier, so much of hitting is mental. If you go down in a streak and you can't find a way to get a hit no matter what, in those situations you feel like you're never going to get a hit, but all of a sudden once you get that first one, he'll start to break out.
As the 0-2 runs up and outside for a ball, count is 1-2 on Woolley. Made a couple putouts the last half inning from second base. The 1-2 pitch. Curveball from Dreyer swung on and lined over to left field and dropping for base in front of Gallen. So the Anglers are finally aboard here as they collect their first base hit of the evening, and it's in thanks to Rankin Woolley. So with one man aboard here and one away, nothing game here in the bottom half of the second inning.
Yeah, and Woolley's first start on Cape Cod, he's making an impact already for the Chatham Anglers.
Woolley's out of Auburn. As now due up is Drew Mendoza, the designated hitter. Played last year on the Cape, is only a DH only though. Doesn't really want to play anywhere else except being a designated hitter, and that's why I guess he wasn't called back to YD, but staying from the left side, so lefty-lefty matchup Mendoza. The first pitch is swung on and foul tipped out of the glove of Driscoll.
And just going off a comment you just made about Rankin Woolley, he will be going to Auburn. He's actually out of a community college from last season. Woolley was at Chattahoochee Valley Community College last season. This is after attending LSU his freshman year. So 3 colleges in 3 years for Rankin Woolley. Woolley had a .460 batting average at the community college last season.
As the 0-1 runs up and outside for a ball. 1-1 on Mendoza. Lefty-lefty matchup. Fastball spot at the knees, but just misses. So count is 2-1 now on Mendoza. Gerard comes set. The 2-1. It's cut on the miss by Mendoza. Good fastball there from Dreyer. So count even back up now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. One man out here, and Woolley off of first after a single. The 2-2 just misses downstairs again for a ball. Count runs full on Mendoza. So Dreyer trying to work the bottom part of the zone and a little outside against Mendoza. Count is full on him. Is running towards second as Woolley, however, pitches fouled off towards the third base side out of play, and they'll do it again.
Mendoza coming into tonight's game, or coming into last night's game, was just 1 for 12 in the season, but he hit a big solo home run last night. So he looks to turn things in the right direction at the plate.
Dreyer comes set, gets a sign from Driscoll, kicks and deals. The 3-2 is cut on and missed, and down on strikes goes Mendoza. So 2 strikeouts in this inning already for Dreyer. That's where both of the outs this happening have come from. Stepping in with Woolley still on first is Nick Kale, the catcher. As he taps home plate a few times from the right side. Dreyer still from the stretch here with 2-way. The first pitch is swung on and over towards the hole in short. Casals fields it. Back off the throw is in time off the back foot of the hole. Pretty play from Casals. And he helps his pitcher Jack Dreyer out there with a nice play.
Outstanding play from Danny Casals at shortstop. I mentioned earlier that he'd been playing second base mostly, played a little bit at third as well. He comes over to shortstop, makes an outstanding backhand play. I thought when he fielded it, he should not throw that ball. He threw it and proved us all wrong and made an almost Jeter-esque throw over at shortstop.
So Casals' defensive play helps get the Mariners out of the inning as it's still knotted up at 0-0 end of 2 innings. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
right fielder from the University of Miami.
And welcome
Number
back
11,
inside the broadcast
Rivera.
booth. So after 2 complete innings, as score is still 0-0, Mariners trying to break through here in the top half of the 3rd inning from Veterans Field. As leading off is the 7, 8, 9 hitters, in which Rivera was very productive yesterday in the 9 hole with 3 for 6 with a run. Him and Casals really were a workload down there as the first pitch curveball misses for a ball. And that's be big again. And we saw Driscoll as well. He's in the 8 hole, and Norman with some speed in the 9 hole. I mean, this is an interesting lineup by Coach Steve Englert. And Driscoll had 2 RBIs backing Katuitt in the victory there in Lowell Park.
He's been a little bit hot and cold, though, Norman has. Has not had a hit in his last 9 at-bats either, though, so.
As the 1-0 is swung on and fouled off Rivera in the batter's box. So count is 1-1 on Rivera. Rivera's nickname here by Coach Steve Englert is Toro, because he's just a guy that is super strong and really puts a lot of work in. The 1-1 to Rivera. Curveball misses up in the zone for a ball. Count is 2-1 now.
And you mentioned he puts a lot of work in. A couple weeks ago, earlier in the season, I was leaving the ballpark about 30 minutes after the game, and I saw that he was leaving the ballpark as well at that time.
As the 2-1 is swung on, a pop-up in the infield. Coming over is the shortstop, Fryman. And he makes the catch for out number 1.
So Rivera was leaving the ballpark with me at a similar time, and I later found out that he was hitting balls in the cage after the game. He's that kind of player that will continue to work and work and work throughout the entire season.
Yeah, he's been doing it back in University of Miami as well, talking with Orleans broadcaster. He's from Miami, calls a bunch of games down there. He says, be ready for Rivera, because he will work that hard. That's the first pitch of Driscoll is swung on and fouled back behind home plate. Driscoll in from the left side. Righty-lefty matchup. The 0-1. Pitch is swung on and lined foul down the third base side. The 0-2. Pitch is swung on off the end of the bat, grounded over towards the third base dugout. And we'll do again at 0-2. So with 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning, 0-0 score, each team with a hit apiece. It's been a pitcher's duel to this point. Both pitchers been dazzling so far. Hammer from the windup. 0-2 runs upstairs. Fastball, try to get him to bite, but Driscoll able to lay off. Count is 1-2 now. Veterans Field, one of the, I guess, gems on the Cape as well, compared to White House and I think Eldridge as well. These probably my 3 favorite fields on the Cape, and you can put Lowell Park in there as well. As the 1-2 is swung on and a high pop fly over towards the third base dugout. Giving a look is Arenas, and he's able to make the catch for out number 2.
Mariners hitters have not been able to solve Dan Hammer so far this evening. It's been 8 up and 8 down. There was a base hit, but a double play was turned on the very next batter. So still, he's only faced 8 batters, and he's recorded 8 outs.
Yeah, Casals recording the only hit for the Mariners. Is stepping in now from the left side is Ben Norman out of Iowa. First pitch is swung and line foul off the screen on the third base side. We've seen a lot of the Mariners trying to jump on the first pitch, getting those fastball counts, and we'll be surprised if Hammer tries to work in some off-speed on the first pitch, because we've seen Icos swing at the first pitch, and now Norman swing at the first pitch and make contact with it. Pitch is cut on and miss. Look like a change-up there from Hammer. As Hayes ahead now 0-2 on the designated hitter, Ben Norman. Norman, who started the season off particularly well, has struggled a little bit of late, but looking to find his step here as the 0-2 is swung on and fouled off towards the third base side, and they'll do it again. And that just doesn't mean that even though he's not hitting, and he's been putting up a lot of quality at-bats, and the same can go said for Cam Thompson and Danny Casals. Those are kind of three guys that really put a lot of good at-bats together. Looking quickly here as the 0-2 is in the dirt for ball. Norman steps out for a snack and 1 foot in the batter's box and 1 foot out. Takes a half swing and will set back in to do battle. A 1-2 to Norman. Pitches swung on, chopped over towards Woolley. Woolley scoops it up. Throw on to first is wide. And try to tagging him was English, but Norman's able to get there first. So
the throw from Woolley is well offline, and the first baseman English had to come off the bag to make the catch and try to do a spin around swipe tag on Norman, and I thought it was awfully close. I thought there was a chance that the first base umpire, Tyler Bullock, was going to call him out, but he calls him safe at first base, so Ben Norman is on base with an error.
And that can be in due part to his speed. So another opportunity here for the Mariners as showing bunt is Gallen as now the top of the order comes around, but the fastball's in there anywhere.
I wouldn't characterize Ben Norman maybe as one of the top two guys in this team in speed, simply because of Ben Thompson and Matt Gorski and of course Chris Galland. So again, there's so many guys on this team that are fast, but the ability to hustle down the line is something that any player can do. And because he was hustling down the line, giving it everything he had, it made it so Woolley at least had to make a good throw, and he didn't. And that allowed Ben Norman to be safe at first base. If he was just sort of jogging it down the line, there would have been time for the first baseman English to recover.
So after the curveball catches the outside zone of Galland, Hammer looks back. Norman at first base. He stepped off. No throw over, though. Norman off at first here with 2 outs in the top half of the third inning. 0-0 score. 0-2 to Galland. Pitches swung on and fouled off as he looks like he cracked his bat as he'll take a jog over. It's only, I believe, the second or third cracked bat. He has to run all the way to the dugout to his bag and retrieve a new one.
We were talking about this a little bit earlier about wooden bats versus metal bats, especially in college baseball, and the difference in cost between wooden bats and metal bats, and the idea that you're going to have to replace wooden bats very, very frequently in college baseball because so many break, and the increased cost is one of the reasons that college baseball does not want to transition to wooden bats. There are a lot of teams that could pay the difference in wooden bats and have absolutely no problem. Some teams in the SEC, ACC, and they wouldn't care at all. But there are teams in smaller conferences that don't want to have to pay the additional cost for bats throughout the course of the season. And if you look at Division II and Division III schools, the difference becomes that much more apparent. They definitely don't want to be paying the extra money for the wood bats as opposed to the metal bats.
And different companies as well between metal and wood. Try telling DeMarini the NCAA wants to go to wooden bats. I'm sure they would fight back as right towards second as Norman is swung on pitch up the middle. Nab by Woolley. Throw on the first is high again. But able to get step on first is English. Able to stretch over there. So after the error by Woolley makes up with another throw over towards first, and Gallen's able to be retired, however. And then 2.5 is still 0-0 score from Veterans Field. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
North Carolina, Chapel Hill, number 31.
And welcome back inside of Veterans Field for the home half of the third inning. Both teams still squared up at 0-0 from Veterans Field as the sun begins to make its decline from the sky. Jake Dreyer still on the mound as the first pitch is swung on and grounded over towards short. Casals corrals a throw on the first, is in time at one pitch, one out to the left fielder Ashton McGee. So he picks up Dreyer picks up right where he left off with back-to-back grounds over to Casals at short. As there's one out here in the bottom of the third inning. As stepping in now is the 9-hole shortstop Brandon Fryman. First pitch from Dreyer catches the outside edge for a strike on Fryman. Fryman, his white batting gloves and red Nike cleats, waves the bat over towards Dreyer as he heads back towards the back of the box. As the 0-1 fastball just misses downstairs for a ball and gets away from Driscoll. Can't even back up now on 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 from Dreyer. Pitch runs just a bit outside and upstairs for a ball. 2-1 on Fryman. So far, Anglers only have 1 hit. And that was Rankin Woolley last half inning. As the 2-1 is swung on a line drive just over the head of Eichhoff. And then their center field drops in as Gorski will pick it up, and just like that, the Anglers pick up the leadoff, or 1-out man with a 1-out single.
It's a fastball over the middle of the plate, and Fryman does a really nice job hitting that ball into right center field. Fastball from Dreyer tonight, 89-91.
That's a good job from Fryman getting into the hitter's count. Able to do some damage against Dreyer as Greg Jones, leadoff man, comes back around with Fryman off of first with 1 out here in the bottom of the third. And a 2-seam fastball clips the outside edge for a strike on the leadoff man. Jones will step out for a second, step back in. Wearing number 2 for the Anglers this season. Dreyer kicks towards home. Looks like an off-speed pitch there, just misses the outside edge. So 1 ball and 1 strike on the speedster from center fielder as Kadana missed. Count is 1-2 now on Jones. Jones batting .271 entering this game. 48 at-bats with 3 home runs. As running towards second now is Fryman. Curveball misses upstairs. Driscoll from his knees, throw down, gets past Casals, and heading towards third now is Fryman. So advance first to third on a stolen base, and as the thrower gets away from Casals at second.
The throw down from Driscoll did not look particularly offline. It was a little bit short, but it was a ball that I think probably should have been picked at second base, but it's still not an easy play. And it gets by everybody and into center field. I think that there are a couple things that need to be happening there. Somebody's got to be backing up the throw so it can't go into center field. That's probably the primary issue.
The 1-2 is swung on and laced right in between first and second as the infield was in. And just like that, the Anglers manufacture a run as they now lead this one 1-0 here in the home half of the third inning.
The third baseman from Stetson, number 49, Jorge Arenas.
So Fryman able to come all the way from first to third on the stolen base, and next pitch, Greg Jones singles one into right field. So 1-0 ball game now. Anglers lead this one with Jones off of first. Dreyer still from the stretch here with 1 out. Facing Jorge Arenas, the first pitch is swung on and fouled off towards the first base side for a strike 1. Jones this year has 8 stolen bases for the Anglers as Dreyer will check over him at first base. He's actually leading the Cape League in stolen bases. And this is a lineup, remember, that is without Spencer Torkelson on duty over at Team USA as the 0-1 is swung on and fouled off again on the first base side as Arenas is in the hole now 0-2.
And if you look at some of the guys who have gone to Team USA, especially probably the top two guys in college baseball from this season, Spencer Torkelson and Andrew Vaughn, both of them come out of college and come directly to the Cape League and are hitting extremely well. Torkelson had 25 home runs at Arizona State, comes to the Cape, has 5 more.
As Jones runs towards second, throw down from Driscoll is in time, and Jones just retires. There 2 ways, the curveball. Looks like it just missed, so 1-2 on Arenas. However, Jones is thrown out at second as Logan Driscoll able to nab him down there. So with 2 outs now, nobody on, driver able to go back to the windup. As he has a 1-2 count on Arenas. The 1-2 curveball swung on a line drive over towards center field. However, shading over is the center fielder Gorski, and he's able to make the grab. So, however, the angler is able to scratch off a run, and thanks to the Greg Jones RBI single after Fryman is able to steal from first to third. So at the end of 3 innings, it is the Anglers 1, the Harwich Mariners nothing. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Welcome back inside Veterans Field in the top half of the 4th inning. The Harwich Mariners trail the Chatham Anglers 1-0. Back out on the mound for his 4th inning of work is Dan Hammer. And Thomas, Dan has been outstanding tonight.
Yeah, Hammer's able to really keep these Mariners at bats at bay. He's only yielded 1 hit so far in 3 innings of work, and that came in the second bat of the game, Danny Casals. Otherwise, not much noise from this Mariners lineup that recorded 17 hits yesterday in Orleans. So let's see if that continues and maybe try to take some more pitches against Hammer. Maybe try to get to the bullpen a little bit.
The shortstop, number 18, Danny
Well, Dreyer has thrown just 42 pitches through 3 innings of work, and the man you just mentioned, Danny Casals, who has the only hit in this game for the Harwich Mariners, steps into the right-hander's batter's box. It's Casals, Shunk, and Lipsius due up in the inning. First pitch, fastball misses low and inside, and Casals dodges out of the way of that one. Fastball from Hammer tonight, 89-91 as well. The 1-0 pitch. This is low, and the count 2 balls and no strikes on the right-handed hitter. Top of the 4th inning and a 1-0 Chatham Anglers lead. Base paths empty, no outs as Casals leads off the inning. The 2-0 pitch, fastball upstairs and out of the zone, but it's swung on and missed from Casals, and the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Casals steps back into the right-hander's batter's box. 2-1 pitch, misses upstairs and outside, and the count goes to 3-1. Well, Casals singled back in the 1st inning. He was out in part of a double play in the next at-bat. As the 3-1 pitch, a fastball on the outside corner, count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Casals taps home plate once, moves his bat in a circular motion. The payoff pitch, swung on a line drive down the left field line, foul, out of play. Hard line drive down the left field line from Casals. Casals had a big 2-run home run to win the game last night, or it was the game-winning home run, the 3-2 pitch. On the outside corner for strike 3. Casals doesn't look like it. Looks back at the home plate umpire, Steve Durant's, with disapproval. But he has nowhere to walk but back to the dugout as there's one away in the top of the 4th.
Yeah, and Hammer is just cruising right now. There's a nice curveball on the outside edge. It's a tough pitch for a hitter. It was right as a borderline pitch, but a good job by Hammer.
Stepping into the right-hander's batter's box is Aaron Shunk. First pitch. This is low for ball 1. And for the most part, despite the fact that he allowed 3 balls to Casals and threw a ball for the first pitch to the at-bat with Aaron Shunk, Hammer's only thrown 13 balls tonight as the 1-0 pitch is a breaking ball cut on and miss. Count goes to 1-1.
Kind of thinking away from like what Garrett Stallings was able to do, kind of get in pitchers' counts and get ahead and really attack these hitters so we can mix in his full arsenal. He's been doing that tonight.
The 1-1 delivery. Cut on, a slow ground ball towards third base, fielded by Arenas. He'll throw to first, and he will tag out Shunk, who was moving quite slowly down the first base line.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was kind of a jammed down there, so he might have hit his hand or something, maybe felt it.
He did not seem like he was at 100% running down that line. I think he was clearly, something was hurting him on his hand likely, as you pointed out, as Andre Lipsia steps into the right-hander's batter's box. As the first pitch is cut on and fouled off the catcher, Kale. Count 0-1. Now, I talked to Lipsius, after the game last night. Asked him when was the last time he hit a home run. He hadn't hit a home run yet on the Cape. He said in his last season in SEC, last series in SEC play was when he hit that home run. As the 0-1 pitch is cut on, ground ball over towards short. It's a long throw, nicely fielded by Freeman, and a throw is in time. And that will do it for the top half of the 4th inning. The Mariners go down in order 1, 2, 3. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. It's 1-0 Chatham. Welcome back in the bottom half of the 4th inning from Veterans Field. The Harwich Mariners trail the Chatham Anglers 1-0. It's the 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up for the Chatham Anglers. It's English, Fogel, and Woolley. As English steps foot into the right-hander's batter's box. You mentioned English is red hot at the plate. First pitch in there for a strike as he has home runs in each of his last 3 games. And he's reached base safely in 9 consecutive. The 0-1 pitch, breaking ball. This is low and in the dirt. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike.
English was also all ACC first team this year for the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech.
The 1-1 delivery. Misses upstairs and outside, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. And Dreyer has had decent control tonight. He's pitched 29 strikes, 16 balls. As the 2-1 pitch, breaking ball cut on and miss. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. So he's allowed 3 hits, 1 run unearned. And struck out 2 batters. The 2-2 offering misses well low, and the count goes full at 3-2. And the payoff pitch. Cut on a high pop-up foul and out of play. Count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Base paths are empty. No outs in the bottom half of the 4th inning. The payoff pitch once more. Swung on, line drive down the left field line, foul. So English taps home plate once. Pitch number 8 of the at-bat upcoming from Jack Dreyer. The offering. Cut on and missed. He goes down swinging at a fastball a little bit out of the zone. And there's one away in the bottom half of the 4th inning.
The right fielder from the University of Hawaii, number 18.
And Dryer's had a solid outing so far. If it wasn't for the first and third on the stolen base, he may not yielded that 1 run. So only 1 run on 3 hits for the Anglers so far.
And the first pitch to Fogel. This is low for ball 1. A 1-0 pitch to the right-handed hitter. The lower part of the zone for strike 1, despite the fact Driscoll couldn't hang on to it. Count 1 ball and 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the 4th inning, a 1-0 Anglers lead. The 1-1 delivery. Cut on and fouled off behind home plate. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fogel steps back in. Hitting just 173 so far on Cape Cod. The 1-2 pitch misses upstairs. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, he's let that curveball just a bit upstairs. Just hasn't really fallen to where he wants it to be at the bottom of the zone.
And the 2-2.
That was a
Breaking
better one.
ball misses low, and the count goes full at 3 balls and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter Fogel. So another payoff pitch. The offering cut on and fouled off. Down the right field side, out of play. They'll do it again. So after an 8-pitch at-bat to English, and his pitch number 7 upcoming to Fogel. The 3-2. Misses low for ball 4. And Dreyer walks him. So 1 away in the bottom half of the 4th inning. There's a runner on first for the Chatham Anglers.
The second baseman from Auburn University, number 50, Rankin Woolley.
And Rankin Woolley, who we mentioned earlier, who has been at 3 colleges in 3 years. He started at LSU. Then moved to a community college. It was Chattahoochee Valley Community College, and next year will be playing at Auburn. He stands in the right-hander's batter's box. First pitch clips the outside corner, count 0-1.
And that was actually Fogel's first walk of this season in 24 at-bats.
The 0-1 pitch, cut on and missed. It's away from the catcher Driscoll, so advancing to second is Fogel. So the count, no balls and 2 strikes on Rankin Woolley. We mentioned the outstanding statistics from Woolley. 460 batting average, an on-base percentage of .515, 93 RBIs in just 202 at-bats. Some outstanding numbers from the right-handed hitter. The 0-2 offering from Dreyer. Cut on a high pop-up into shallow center field. The shortstop Casals is going to call everybody else off and makes the catch for the second out of the inning.
Now batting for the Anglers, the designated hitter from Florida State University, number 36, Drew Mendoza.
And Drew Mendoza, the left-handed hitter, digs his foot in the back part of the left-hander's batter's box. Kicks around some dirt. Runner on second base, 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th inning, a 1-0 Anglers lead. The first pitch from Dreyer. Cut on and a ground ball over towards short. Eichhoff fields, he'll toss to first, and that'll do it. The Anglers strand 1, and after 4 innings of play, it's the Chatham Anglers 1 and the Harwich Mariners 0. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
H.P. Hood, Sunderland Printing, Access Bats, and of course, for more than 50 years of its support, a big thank you to Major League
Welcome back
Baseball.
inside Veterans Field in the top half of the 5th inning. The Harwich Mariners trail the Chatham Anglers 1-0. And back out on the mound for the Chatham Anglers is Dan Hammer. Hammer has thrown 4 innings of work. He's allowed just 1 hit. And Thomas, he's done this before on Cape Cod.
Yeah, no, this is, again, he's making his first start, obviously, but, I mean, back in against Hyannis, pitched 5 innings, only 1 hit and 5 strikeouts, and against Bourne, pitched 3 2/3, 1 hit, 5 strikeouts, and both starts yielded 1 walk, so it seems like he keeps going with the same MO right now.
Well,
Again,
he's been outstanding.
Mariners only 1 hit so far in 4 innings.
And Eichhoff stands in the left-hander's batter's box. First pitch, check swing. They motion down to the third base umpire, Jeff Kinney. Says he doesn't go around. Again, the umpires around the diamond. Steve Durant's behind home plate. First base is Tyler Bullock, and at third base is Jeff Kinney. 1-0 pitch, cut on, a high fly ball towards shallow left field, cutting towards the line. It is a foul ball. Opportunity for extra bases from Eichhoff as that ball was cutting towards the line. No one was going to be able to get to that ball in time, but it landed just a few feet foul. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on the left-handed hitter. Eichhoff 6 for his last 10 at the plate after getting his first base hit just under a week ago. As Eichhoff tops home plate. The 1-1 delivery misses low and in the dirt. Count 2 balls and 1 strike as Eichhoff again leading off the top of the 5th inning. As the Harwich Mariners trail the Chatham Anglers 1-0. Moves his bat in a circular motion. Here's the 2-1 offering. Cut on and line into right field for a base hit, and the hot bat of Nate Eichhoff stays on fire. And he leads off the top of the 5th with a base hit. So this is the most hits that Hammer has actually allowed in an outing so far on Cape Cod.
Yeah, we'll have to see if the Mariners can try to do something here this half inning with the leadoff man on.
I don't foresee them stealing quite yet, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them steal with possibly 1 or 2 outs in the inning. Eichhoff was caught stealing yesterday. First pitch to Gorski, a bunt down the third base line. Third baseman comes in, throws to first. It's in time. Nicely done by Arenas, the third baseman, but it advances Eichhoff to second base. So the Mariners go with small ball early in this game. It's just the top half of the 5th inning. And the Mariners are having Matt Gorski bunt.
Well, especially with speed as well. He made that a very close play over at first. Almost beat that one out. They're just trying to manufacture run, just almost how Chatham did when they stole first and then ended up on third, and their base hit scored them. So trying to do the same here with one away.
Well, Gabe Rivera steps into the right-hander's batter's box. Runner on second base, one out. First pitch to Rivera, breaking ball cut on and missed. Count no balls and one strike to the right-handed hitter. So Eichhoff leads off of second base, one out in the top of the fifth, a 1-0 Anglers lead. Rivera followed by Driscoll. The 0-1 pitch to Rivera in the dirt. It gets away from the catcher, and walking over to third base practically is Eichhoff. And now the Mariners have the tying run 90 feet away in the top half of the fifth inning. As that ball completely ate up Kale behind home plate. It was in the dirt and bounced all the way to the backstop. And the infield is in for the Chatham Anglers. Middle infielders have their feet on the grass. That's Woolley at second and Fryman at short. The 1-1 pitch to Rivera, cut on and missed, breaking ball. The lower part of the zone, and Rivera swung right over it.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity for Mariners. They got to try to get a run in here as they've had trouble at times this season. Again, timely hitting is a big key for this Mariners roster. It's a matter of who steps up in these big moments and delivers a hit.
The 1-2 pitch misses low and outside. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
They have multiple opportunities to try to get a run in with either a sac fly this time out or if a base hit, since there's only one away.
1 out. Top of the fifth inning, runner on third base for the Harwich Mariners as they trail 1-0 in the top of the fifth. The 2-2 offering to Rivera, cut on and fouled off behind home plate. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Eichhoff stands on third base. He singled to lead off the inning. Sacrifice bunt by Gorski advanced him to second, and after a wild pitch, he found himself at third base. 2-2 pitch once more is cut on and fouled off.
Do not lean on the outfield fence. Thank you.
And pitch number 7 of the at-bat upcoming to Casals. Or I beg your pardon, to Rivera. The 2-2 pitch, cut on and fouled off.
Just a tad early on that one.
Got a lot of that ball. So the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter. The runner on third base and 1 out as as Rivera looks to drive in Eichhoff at third base. The 2-2 pitch, cut on, a slow chopper down the third base line. Fielding and throwing to the plate is the third baseman Arenas, and it's in time as Eichhoff is thrown out at home plate. A nice job by the charging third baseman Arenas, and it keeps the Harwich Mariners off the board. So it is the Chatham Anglers 1 still, and the Harwich Mariners nothing. As Gabe Rivera reaches first base safely, and Logan Driscoll steps into the left-hander's batter's box.
And that was really the only play that Arenas had was the play at home. It was a tough play to get a throw over towards first and get Rivera out. So
2 outs in the top of the fifth inning. Gabe Rivera stands on first base as Logan Driscoll is due up. And the Harwich Mariners bullpen, or a large portion of it, jogs down, and there will be a new pitcher coming in for Dan Hammer. In the top half of the fifth inning, he throws 4 2/3 innings of work. He allows a total of just 2 hits. He struck out 2 and is responsible for the runner on first base, Gabe Rivera. And that will do it for Dan Hammer's outing. So we'll step aside and sort out the details of the new pitcher when we come back. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
catcher, Logan Driscoll.
Welcome back in the top half of the 5th inning. 2 outs. Mariners trail 1-0. A new pitcher on the mound for the Chatham Anglers is Nick Scheidler. After Dan Hammer went 4 2/3 innings, he threw 61 pitches, allowed just 2 hits, no earned runs.
Scheidler, a native of Carlsbad, California, the left-hander.
First pitch misses well upstairs for ball 1.
Out of UCLA. Teammates with, of course, Harwich Mariners pitcher Cal Mora. Just pitched against YD last home game.
And the 1-0 pitch swung on a high pop up into shallow center field. The center fielder, Jones, comes in and makes the catch for the final out of the inning. So after 4.5 innings of play, it is the Harwich Mariners 0 and the Chatham Anglers 1. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. To win it.
Big Ed says they even take cash.
Well, welcome back in the bottom half of the 5th inning. The Mariners trail the Chatham Anglers 1-0. And back out on the mound is Jack Dreyer. Dreyer has thrown 4 innings of work so far. Allowed 3 hits, 1 run, which is unearned. Walked 1 batter and struck out 3. He's been outstanding. And we mentioned at the top of the broadcast that, he did well in his first 3 innings versus Hyannis, and then he sort of started to run into some trouble in the 4th and 5th innings. Now as his pitch count starts to go up, let's see how he's able to do against these Chatham bats. As Nick Kale steps into the right-hander's batter's box. First pitch misses outside. Count 1 ball and no strikes. Kale steps back in as he leads off the bottom of the 5th inning. 1-0 pitch on the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-1. Dreyer has thrown 63 pitches this evening. A lot of the Mariners have been held to an 85-pitch pitch count. The 1-1 pitch misses upstairs and outside. Count 2-1. So if he is at that area, he could go 5 and possibly even into the 6th. So the 2-1 pitch cut on and foul tip into the mitt of Logan Driscoll. On the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1-0 Chatham Anglers lead. They scored that run in the bottom of the 3rd. As the 2-2 pitch is cut on, a high fly ball to left field, down the left field, to right field, the right fielder, Rivera moves over to the line and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So,
and a big time of it last time, his first start against Hyannis was just the 2nd time around, and now, he's finishing most of these hitters off, and now the 8-9 hitters coming up, and he's done a better job of this today than he did in Hyannis. Hyannis just was able to figure him out, and a little more deceptive, changing things up each batter, each time around.
66 pitches into his outing. 43 strikes, 23 balls is the first pitch to Ashton McGee in there for a strike on the outside corner. The 0-1 delivery. Misses just a little bit outside, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1 delivery cut on and fouled off down the left field line over towards that parking lot, exactly where I am parked. Hopefully my car is unscathed.
I guess you'll find out after the game.
I didn't hear a loud crash and bang, and I'm hoping we're all right. 1-2 pitch cut on and fouled off to the backstop. Count remains 1-2. 1 out, bottom of the 5th inning, a 1-0 Chatham Anglers lead. Mariners bats are yet to come alive in this evening's game as Dan Hammer was outstanding for the Anglers. And Dreyer's been pretty good for the Mariners as the 1-2 pitch is cut on. A ground ball over to first, fielded by Ellipsius, but he lost his glove in the process. And by the time he flips over to first, Dreyer was not in time. The ball was so hard hit that the glove of Ellipsius came off when he tried to field it on the backhand. So Ashton McGee is aboard with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Let's see how that ball that is scored. Excuse me, and it looks like they're going to give him a hit.
Yeah, that was hard hit right at him, and I think it kind of ate up Lipsius because he didn't know if it was the backhanded or just leave it on the forehand. So then, by the time he chose the backhand, it was so hard hit into the webbing, it just knocked his glove off.
And out to the mound is Coach Steve Engler with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. And let's see if he's going to go to the bullpen. There's been a few times where he's come to the pitcher's mound to meet with the pitcher, and the pitcher has either convinced him to stay in the game or he's come out to the mound and discussed strategy. So there has been no signals to the bullpen yet.
Looks like Michael Beeline, I think, might be out there, right-hander, from what my eyes can see over there.
And Coach Steve Engler leaves the mound as Dreyer is back out to complete the bottom of the 5th inning, or at least he's hoping to do so.
Well, that's the thing, too. He could be 1 pitch away from the inning. You maybe just want to calm him down out there, tell him the situation, and tell him if, trying to think of the next 1 or 2 guys, and if not, that's okay.
And it's an interesting situation. They send Coach Steve Engler out there as opposed to the pitching coach, Steve Gruenberg.
I think a lot of it, too, is Englers. He works a lot with the catchers here in Harwich. He understands a lot of the situations as a catcher and knows when to go out.
And the 9-hitter, Braden Freeman, shows bunt and bunts it foul for the first pitch, count 0-1. Freeman hitting .294. He's 1 for 1 on the game. As McGee leads off first base, 1 out. The 0-1 pitch cut on and missed. Fastball on the count, no balls and 2 strikes. The 0-2 delivery from Dreyer. Cut on, a line drive into right center field for a base hit. It could hit the gap. Rounding second is McGee. He heads the third. Throw to second for Fryman is not in time as he dives into second safely. Runners on second and third with 1 out in the bottom half of the 5th inning as the Anglers continue to threaten.
Yeah, and that was Gorski made it very close over there at second to almost nab Fryman. It would have been a little easier if he had some momentum going there because he had to turn his body then an extra half second. Cost him there, but Gorski, really nice throw over there in the second, made it really close for Furman trying to stretch it into double, as it did reach the gap over there in right center. But since Gorski has a lot of speed, able to cut the ball off.
The infield is back. Mariners trail the Anglers 1-0 in the bottom of the 5th. First pitch to the leadoff man in the order, Greg Jones, in there for a strike with a breaking ball. Runners on second and third. The 0-1 pitch misses upstairs. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. You'd have to think that Beeline has to be close to coming into this game.
And if you're drawing the mound right now, you see 1 out and you got runners on second and third. You want something on the ground, not anything in the air unless you can pop them up. So you want to either strike out or anything on the ground. Try to hold these runners at second and third.
And the home plate umpire, Steve Durant, calls time.
because you know Jones is going to try to elevate one, or he just, he doesn't want to get on top of anything. He either wants to screw it up or he wants to get on top, so we can, or not get on top, get under it, excuse me, to try to drive it out to the outfield.
1-1 pitch is cut on and fouled off towards the Harwich Mariners bullpen to count 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Dreyer ahead of the count, and you'd have to think he's going to throw something out of the zone, try to get a swing and a miss out of Jones.
Yeah, strikeout would go a long way here. It'd be 2 down then, and then the play would just be the first to try to end the half inning. So.
The 1-2 pitch cut on and fouled off down the first base line, out of play. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dreyer from the set. About to throw his pitch, but home plate umpire calls time once more.
I think if Jones gets on, then I think that might be it for Dreyer.
The 1-2 pitch, breaking ball, cut on and missed from Jones. He struck him out. Big strikeout from Jack Dreyer.
Yeah, that was a nasty pitch in the dirt from Dreyer. Greg Jones went fishing down there, and just a great pitch from Dreyer. There's now 2 outs here in the inning. Looking to go unscathed in this half inning and keep the game at 1-0.
Dreyer has now thrown 79 pitches, so he has reached that point in the game where he's in the latter innings. He has runners on second and third with just 2 outs. The first pitch cut on and fouled off. Count no balls and 1 strike on the number 2 hitter, Jorge Arenas. This inning started with a line drive to first base from Ashton McGee that got him a single, and a double by the next batter, Braden Fryman. And this one is a ground ball up towards second, fielded by Eichhoff. He throws the first. It's in time, so the Mariners get out of trouble. As I was saying earlier, it was a single followed by a double. But with 2 outs, the Mariners work out of trouble. At the end of 5 innings of play, it is the Mariners 1. The Mariners nothing, and the Anglers 1. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
King from Vanderbilt now pitching for Chatham.
Welcome back in the top half of the 6th inning as the Harwich Mariners trail the Chatham Anglers 1-0. There's a new pitcher in for the Chatham Anglers, Zach King. As he replaces Scheidler. Schneidler only pitched a third of an inning. to finish off the fifth, but he comes out of the game, and in comes Zach King.
Yeah, King out of Vanderbilt as reliable arm down in that bullpen for Tim Corbin for the last 2 years. Making his second appearance here on the K pitch, 2 innings. He had 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned.
Ben Norman steps into the left-hander's batter's box. First pitch cut on and fouled off behind home plate. Count 0-1. The 9-1 and 2 hitters, Norman, Gallen, and Casals, due up for the Harwich Mariners. The 0-1 offering. Breaking ball in there for strike 2, and the count no balls and 2 strikes.
And with the new pitcher besides him around the mound, we'll have to see if the Mariners can try to break through here. They've gone to the bullpen. Let's see if they can do some damage now.
The 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball cut on and missed in the dirt. Fielded by the catcher, Kale. He throws the first. It's in time, although it was pretty close. And there's one away in the top of the 6th.
The left fielder, number 4, Chris Gallen.
And Chris Gallen, who's 0 for 2 on the day, is set to step into the right-hander's batter's box. And while he's 0 for 2, Gallen is a guy who can break out of a slump at any time, especially because of his speed. What was just a lazy ground ball to third could become a hit for him. He's able to beat a lot of those out as the first pitch misses low and outside, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. The 1-0 delivery to Gallant. Swung on a high fly ball into right field. Fogel takes a couple of steps in and makes the catch for the second out of the inning. A quick 2 up and 2 down for the Harwich Mariners.
Shortstop, number 18, Danny Casals.
And Danny Casals, out of the University of Maine, steps into the right-hander's batter's box. Hit his first home run on Cape Cod last night, and everybody was just waiting for that power to come through as the first pitch is cut on and fouled off. He hit 14 at Maine, also added 49 RBIs, and everyone was waiting to see when is he going to hit that first home run, and it took him some time, but it came in a very important spot in the top of the 11th inning when he hit a 2-run home run to give the Mariners a 10-8 lead in last night's game. And that ended up being the final score. It was the game-winning home run as the 0-1 pitch misses outside, count 1 ball and 1 strike. Two outs, top of the 6th, 1-0 Anglers lead as the 1-1 pitch misses upstairs and outside, count 2 balls and 1 strike to the right-handed hitter. The 2-1 delivery, check swing. A motion over to first base. First base umpire Tyler Bullock says he doesn't go around, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike on the right-handed hitter. The 3-1 delivery from King. Cut on and fouled off to the backstop. Count goes full at 3-2. Casals steps back in. The payoff pitch. Cut on and fouled off once again, and pitch number 7 of the at-bat will be upcoming to Danny Casals. So the payoff pitch again. Cut on and fouled off to the same spot. Out of play down the first base side. Casals doing a very nice job working King. Casals singled back in the first. He struck out looking in the 4th in what he thought was ball 4. So he's 1 for 2 on the evening. with the base paths empty and 2 outs. Pitch number 8 to the at-bat, cut on a high fly ball to right center field, headed back to the track, and it one-hops the wall, rounding first and heading into second base with a stand-up double is Danny Casals. And there's a runner on second with 2 outs for the Harwich Mariners as they trail in this ball game 1-0.
The third baseman, number
Good
28,
at-bat by
Aaron
Casals, and we're used to him really working the count there, and he gets into the full, fouls off a couple of pitches, and able to line one over towards right center gap, and again, he's just a doubles machine. Picked one up yesterday, now picks up another one.
And stepping into the right-hander's batter's box is Aaron Shunk. As Danny Casals leads off of second base, he finds himself in scoring position. With one swing of the bat, the Mariners can tie this game. First pitch to Shunk. Breaking ball in there for strike one. Count no balls and 1 strike on the right-handed hitter. So Casals leads off of second base. With 2 outs, the 0-1 pitch. Fastball cut on and missed from Shunk, and the count no balls and 2 strikes. Shunk 0 for 2 in tonight's ball game. Average down to 348, which still leads this Harwich Mariners team. The 0-2 pitch. This is outside, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Shunk. The 1-2 offering from King, swung on, a shallow fly ball into center field. It drops for a base hit. Rounding third and scoring is Casals. It's an RBI single from Aaron Shunk. And the Harwich Mariners tie this game at 1-1 on the top of the 6th.
Yeah, Aaron Shunk delivers once again. He's been an RBI machine. Let's make that now,
first baseman, number 13,
looks like 4 games in a row now for Shunk, who's delivered an RBI, and he does it again in a big spot as now the game is tied at 1.
And in a low-scoring game like this, every run is so important. The Mariners string 2 hits together and have tied this game at 1-1 as Andre Lipsia stands in the right-hander's batter's box and takes a swing and fouls the first pitch off down the first base line out of play.
And all this has happened with 2 outs as well, so a double and now a single from Shunk with 2 outs.
So all it takes, a couple of swings of the bat, and this ball game looks very different. The 0-1 pitch to Lipsius runs inside, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike to the right-handed hitter.
As they always say, you're 1 pitch from getting out of an inning and you're 1 pitch from prolonging the inning. And that time, the Mariners able to get on the right side of things with a couple base hits.
1-1 game in the top of the 6th. Shunk leads off first with 2 outs. The 1-1 pitch misses low. As Lipsius taps home plate, count 2 balls and 1 strike on the right-handed hitter. 2-1 pitch, cut on and fouled off to the backstop, count 2-2. Wouldn't be surprised to see Shunk try to steal second, put himself in scoring position with 2 outs. The 2-2 pitch, cut on, ground ball over towards second base. Woolley Fields, underhand flip to first, and that will do it for the end of the top of the 6th inning, but not before the Mariners score a run and tie this game at 1-1. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Sunday at 8 a.m.
bottom half of the 6th inning from Veterans Field as the Harwich Mariners are now tied at 1-1 with the Chatham Anglers. Mariners were down 1-0, but in the top half of the 6th inning, a double off the bat of Danny Casals to right center field, followed by a bloop single from Aaron Shunk, tied the game at 1. And there's a new pitcher for the Harwich Mariners, is Michael Beeline. Beeline out of NC State. And Thomas, he's had a pretty solid season so far for the Harwich Mariners.
Yeah, Beeline making his 4th appearance, has pitched 7 1/3 scoreless innings so far with 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts, posting a 2.45 ERA. And hitters only hitting 167 off of him.
And stepping into the right-hander's batter's box for the Chatham Anglers is Tristan English. English 0 for 2 with the strikeout in tonight's game. His average was up over 400 to start the game. It's down to 395 now. First pitch to English, fastball cut on a foul tip into the mitt of Logan Driscoll. The 0-1 pitch cut on a chopper foul towards the Chatham Anglers dugout on the third base side, and you see it pretty frequently in the Cape Cod Baseball League where the home dugout is on the third base side as opposed to the first base side where it is in Major League Baseball. The 0-2 pitch, breaking ball misses just low to English as Beeline wanted that pitch, but he doesn't get it as home plate umpire Steven Durant calls it just a little bit low.
Yeah, some MLB teams actually follow suit. Toronto Blue Jays, I can think of one, but yeah, most of the MLB teams have their home dugout on the first base side.
1-2 pitch, cut on, ground ball over to third. Fielded by Shunk. He'll throw across the diamond, but it's errant and wide of first base. Backing up is Logan Driscoll to prevent English from going any further. But a bad throw from Aaron Shunk has allowed English to get on first base. It's going to be an error. Although it was a pretty hard hit ball and it was a long throw from Shunk. But the scorekeeper marks it down as an error on Shunk, and there's a runner on first base with no outs.
Ben Ramirez.
And Ben Ramirez steps into the right-hander's batter's box. He started the season off very nicely. He had a 5-game hit streak, but since then, he's just 5 for his last 27. Left-handed hitter taps home plate once as English leads off of first. First pitch from Beeline. The lower part of the zone for strike one. So it's English off first. No outs, bottom of the 6th inning in a 1-1 game. As Beeline will toss over to first as English scurries back to the bag. The pitch cut on and missed, now firing back to first. But getting back to the bag safely is English.
Yeah, it was interesting. English didn't end up deciding not to slide back in there. Decided to go up standing up. Almost like, Jason Giambi when he decided not to slide and Derek Jeter made the flip play.
Count, no balls and 2 strikes on Ramirez. The 0-2 offering, cut on, line drive down the third baseline, foul. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes to the left-handed hitter. So Ramirez taps home plate. Count, no balls and 2 strikes. Runner on first base with nobody out in the bottom of the 6th inning. The 0-2 pitch, cut on and missed. Struck him out. Ramirez goes down swinging at a breaking ball, and there's one away in the bottom of the 6th inning in a 1-1 ball game.
Now pitch hitting for Chatham. The University of Southern California. Number 21, Blake Sable.
And Blake Sable is a pinch hitter as well, as he'll step into the left-hander's batter's box. So Ramirez pinch hit for Fogel. And now, and Blake Sable will pinch hit for Rankin Woolley.
It's back-to-back USC Trojans who are stepping into the box now.
First pitch cut on and fouled off down the left field side towards that parking lot once more. Count, no balls and 1 strike. Sable is just 1 for his last 13. The 0-1 pitch. This is low in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike.
So it's back-to-back substitutions now for the manager, Tom Holliday. I always want to say John Schiffner, but can't say that anymore.
Well, Tom Holliday is the father of MLB player, or former MLB player, Matt Holliday, as the 1-1 pitch misses outside. Count 2 balls and 1 strike. And if there's anybody the Chatham Anglers could have hired, I don't think they could have gone with anybody better than Tom Holliday. He's coached under the great Augie Garrido and many other coaching legends, and he has had himself quite an outstanding collegiate baseball career. As the 2-1 pitch is cut on and popped up foul, out of play.
Yeah, not a bad guy to follow. John Schiffner managed 25 years here on the Cape League, and for Chatham, of course. Winningest coach in Cape League history, and actually played for Harwich back in the early 70s. He's a proud alumnus of my college, Providence College. Played college ball there. For now, the defunct baseball program.
Runner goes, 2-2 pitch, misses inside. Throw down a second is offline. Actually hits the runner on first base, Ramirez, or English. So 1 out, runner on second base. Bottom of the 6th inning. As Blake Sable stands in the left-hander's batter's box. A 1-1 ball game in the bottom of the 6th, as the Chatham Anglers look to jump back out on top. And the 3-2 pitch, cut on and missed, struck him out. Big strikeout to Blake Sable. And there's 2 away in the bottom half of the 6th inning. So stepping into the left-hander's batter's box is Drew Mendoza, the designated hitter in tonight's contest, who is 0 for 2. First pitch, check swing, misses low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Runner on second base, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning. And a 1-1 game between the Mariners and the Anglers. Left-handed hitter Mendoza steps back into the batter's box. Here's the 1-1 pitch. This is low, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. No one warming up in the Harwich Mariners bullpen. As it looks like Beeline should finish out this inning. And there's at least a chance we'll be back out on the mound in the bottom of the 7th. As home plate umpire Steve Durantz calls time. So the 2-0 pitch, cut on and missed on a pitch in the dirt. Count 2 balls and 1 strike to Mendoza. Runner on second base with 2 outs as the Chatham Anglers look to get back on top of the Harwich Mariners. Mariners scored a run in the top of the 6th inning with a double from Casals and a single from Aaron Shunk. Beeline looks back at the runner at second. The 2-1 pitch misses outside, count 3-1. The runner on second base is Tristan English. He reached on an error from Aaron Shunk at third base as the ground ball to third was thrown wildly offline. And after he stole second base, he now stands at second with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. The 3-1 offering to Mendoza misses upstairs and outside, and he walks the batter. Runners on first and second now in the bottom of the 6th.
Washington, number 56, Nick Kale.
And Nick Kale steps foot in the right-hander's batter's box. Kale 0 for 2 in tonight's game. He grounded a short back in the 2nd, flew out to right in the 5th. Kale making his first start on Cape Cod tonight as the first pitch misses inside for ball 1.
Yeah, Washington making it all the way out to Omaha, so a little late departure here for Kale.
We've talked about it before. The adjustment process oftentimes takes at least a game or two before the hitter can adjust to those wooden bats. As the 1-0 pitch. This is a little bit inside, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. And still no one warming up in the Harwich Mariners bullpen as Beeline finds himself in a bit of trouble. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th, a 1-1 game. Runners on first and second, and a 2-0 count on Nick Kale. The 2-0 delivery. In there for a strike with a fastball. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Kale had trouble finding the strike zone over the past 2 batters, as it was a 5-pitch walk issued to Drew Mendoza, and he was down in the count 2-0 to Nick Kale. So 6 out of the 7 pitches he had thrown were balls. So he fires a fastball right down the middle, and the count 2-1. So the 2-1 pitch cut on and popped up behind home, played out of play. Count goes to 2-2. So Mendoza leads off first, English off of second. As Kale steps back into the right-hander's batter's box. The 2-2 offering. Misses inside, ends up hitting Kale on the arm, and the bases are loaded for the Chatham Anglers.
And this is a big opportunity now. It's just one strike out from getting out of this half inning, and now the bases are loaded with still 2 outs.
Carolina Chapel Hill, number 31, Ashton McGee.
McGee does have one of the 5 hits for the Anglers this evening.
As Ashton McGee steps into the left-hander's batter's box. As Ricky DeVito is stretching the Harwich Mariners bullpen, he's not yet throwing.
And he's a guy that can throw you a couple innings.
And he was warmed up last night in the bottom of the 11th inning before being shut down to not need to come into the game as the first pitch is cut on and missed, count 0-1. The Mariners would prefer not to have to bring him in this inning, but with the way that Beeline has found trouble in the latter stages of this inning, they may be forced to do so if he can't get one of the next 2 outs. The 0-1 pitch misses outside, count 1 ball and 1 strike.
It seems like Beeline hasn't missed, much on these pitches. That was a nice backdoor curveball. They're just not catching the outside corner.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. 1-1 game from Veterans Park as the 1-1 pitch is cut on and missed. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Beeline gets the pitch from Driscoll. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning, a 1-1 game. The 1-2 pitch. Cut on a miss, struck him out. McGee goes down swinging. And Beeline works out of trouble. It took him 28 pitches, but at the end of 6 innings of play, it's the Mariners 1 and the Anglers 1. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Split between the winner and the Chatham Athletic. Course level near the 50-50 tables.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development online at www.curry.edu.
And welcome back inside of Veterans Field for inning number 7. Game still tied at 1. As we take a look back at the game recap, as so far the Chatham lone run came in the 3rd inning, and thanks to a Greg Jones RBI single after Fryman, the 9-hitter, got on with a single, then able to go from 1st to 3rd after throwing error from Driscoll. The catcher just got away over there at 2nd base, and then the Mariners run came back just last inning in the 6th inning. When after a 2-out double from Casal, Shunk bloop single into center field, able to score him from 2nd. And that's how he got here, as Zach King for the Anglers is back on the mound. For the Anglers, and the left-hander Nate Eichhoff steps in. He singled back in the 5th, so he's 1 for 2 on this evening. He was gunned down at the plate after a slow chopper over to 3rd. Otherwise, the Mariners could have taken the lead. So nobody on, nobody out here on the top of the 7th, 1-1 ball game. Lefty-lefty matchup. King, first pitch from the windup, is fouled back into the screen for strike 1. The sun is practically set here from White House Field. Wind still blowing out towards right center field. What's been a good attendance here tonight at Veterans Field as the summer crowds begin to come. One pitch bounces the dirt, unable to scoop it behind the plate is Kale. Count even back up now at 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'm not sure the Mariners would rather have anyone else to plate than Nate Eichhoff, who is 7 for his last 11. He's 1 for 2 in this game as he ripped a single into right field his last time up.
The 1-1 is swung on and chopped over towards first. Rolling ball English picks it up, and he'll take himself to the bag for out number 1. So Eichhoff is retired here in the top half of the 7th inning. So with 1 away, still tied at 1-1, Matt Gorski, the speedster center fielder out of Indiana, struck out of the 2nd in a sacrifice bunt back in the 5th. So he's technically only 0 for 1 this evening. He'll do work from the right side, facing left-hander King. The first pitch is swung on and fouled back into the screen behind home plate for strike 1.
As we take a look at the pitching lines from some of the players from tonight's game, Dan Hammer started the game for the Chatham Anglers, pitched 4 2/3 innings, allowed 2 hits, no runs, and struck out 2.
The 0-1 from King is swung on and foul tipped into the mitt of Kale. As King is quickly ahead now 0-2 on Gorski.
And replacing Hammer was Nick Scheidler. He threw just 1/3 of an inning, and King has now thrown an inning and a third, allowed 2 hits, 1 earned run. He struck out 1.
Swung on a miss. Fastball was elevated there, and Gorski goes down on strikes as he elevated the fastball and Gorski went chasing after it. So now with 2 outs here in the top half of the 7th inning, it is Gabe Rivera, the right fielder. He popped down the 3rd and grounded a fielder's choice back in the 5th. Looking for his first hit this evening. Mariners only have 4 hits in total. Lefty ready matchup. First pitch from King. Runs outside for a ball. Chatham hosted the All-Star game here 2 years ago. We'll head back to Harwich this year after it was in Wareham last year. 1-0 off-speed pitch, misses again outside. Count is 2-0 on Rivera. The 2-0 misses below the knees for a ball. Count is 3-0 on Rivera here with 2 outs and nobody on in the top half of the 7th inning. 1-1 ball game from Veterans Field. It's been a pitcher duels tonight. Only 9 combined hits for both sides. As the 3-0 taking all the way, where Rivera takes a fastball on the outside edge for a strike as he tries to mount a comeback against Rivera. Count is 3-1.
Rivera has not walked so far on Cape Cod.
The 3-1 pitch is cut on and missed by Rivera. So after being down the count 3-0, King's able to work it back to a full count here with 2-A in the top half of the 7th inning. Mariners trying to break this 1-1 ball game. The payoff pitch from King is swung on and a high pop fly. Find the seats over here behind home plate. And they'll do it again at 3 balls and 2 strikes. King gets the sign from Kale. Set from the windup. The payoff pitch. Pitch runs low and outside for ball 4, and Rivera works a walk here with 2 outs in the away half of the 7th inning.
The catcher, number 21, Logan Driscoll.
As Logan Driscoll will take off his shin guards and will head towards the left-handed batter's box with 2-A. Driscoll has popped out and flied out this evening. Looks to change his fortunes here. Driscoll sporting his Franklin Hard Spanners batting gloves. The lefty-lefty matchup. King fires a fastball in there for a strike at the belt. So Rivera off of first base after the walk. Driscoll digging in from the left side for the 3rd time this evening with 2-A here in the top half of the 7th inning. 1-1 ball game. The left-hander for the Anglers, Zach King, fires another fastball, this time in the outside corner. As he's fired 2 fastballs in there now as the count is 0-2 on Logan Driscoll. Rivera off of first. The 0-2 to Driscoll. Curveball swung on and missed. And Driscoll goes down on strikes as King picks up a strikeout. His 2nd in that half inning. Right into the 7th inning stretch. Game is knotted up at 1-1. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Leading off for the Anglers from Samford University, the shortstop.
And welcome back inside the Veterans Field for the latter half of the 7th inning. It is still a 1-1 ball game here in the bottom of the 7th after the 7th inning stretch. As we take a look around the league through the Cape Cod Baseball League.
And around the Cape Cod Baseball League, the YD Red Sox game is final. They won versus the Katuitt Kettleers by a score of 4-1 as that game ended actually regulation time. A game that did not end in regulation time, went extra innings, but was called a tie nonetheless after 10 due to darkness, was the Brewster Whitecaps versus the Orleans Firebirds.
So after the first pitch, Fassel runs inside. Beeline runs another one inside as well as Logan Driscoll will now march out to the mound and talk to Beeline here.
And game still in progress. Top of the 8th inning, the Bourne Braves lead the Falmouth Commodores 6-5. And in the top of the 7th, the Wareham Gatemen all over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 14-4. And I mentioned the Falmouth Commodores, they have won 5 straight, so their winning streak on the line as they trail by 1 to the Bourne Braves.
As the 2-0 pitch also runs inside on the 9-hole man, Brandon Fryman. Down and heads now to 3 balls and no strikes.
And despite the fact the Commodores are on a 5-game win streak, they're still last in the West Division.
It's just like that, the leadoff man is on after a 4-pitch walk
Now batting for the Anglers,
to
the center
Brandon
fielder,
Friedman. Now as the top of the order comes back around, it is Greg Jones, the center fielder.
Jones.
He has driven the lone run this evening for the Anglers. So here with nobody on, excuse me, no outs and 1 man on after the 4-pitch walk to Fryman. Anglers looking to break this 1-1 ball game.
And the divisions are, the Western Division has significantly better records than the Eastern Division. Falmouth is 7-8 and last in the West. Last in the East is Brewster at 3-13-2.
As the first pitch runs outside for a ball.
And Coach Steve Gruenberg walks out to the mound after 5 consecutive balls are thrown from Beeline.
It's actually interesting because the Mariners are 5-4-1 against the Western Conference this season, only 4-3 against the Eastern Conference. So they're about 500 at both. They just have, an extra tie in there. Like I was against Bourne in the doubleheader. They actually swept Falmouth in the doubleheader. So, and that's why coming up, the Mariners have lots of opportunities against these Eastern Conference opponents. As Greenberg will continue to talk things over with Beeline, maybe to buy some time down in the bullpen.
And I said it was DeVito earlier who was stretching. He was stretching, but warming up in the bullpen is Jackson Gillis, the left-handed pitcher. So you could see Gillis potentially come in for Beeline.
We could see 2 Vanderbilt guys this evening with Zach King on the mound, a left-hander, and Jackson Gillis, a left-hander out of Vanderbilt. As a righty-lefty matchup, the 1-0 runs inside on Jones. Count is 2-0 now, and at some points this season, the walks the Mariners have dealt have hurt them sometimes. You saw back in YD after the bases were loaded. A couple runs, the runs begin to pour on as Beeline fires a fastball in there at the letters for a strike. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike on the center fielder, Greg Jones. 1 for 3 this evening. As Beeline fires a pitch over there to first base to check on Fryman over there. Righty-lefty matchup. Beeline comes set. Kicks and deals. The 2-1 is swung on a line drive down the right field line. I'll drop it for base hit, and 1 hops the wall over the right field. Rivera picks it up. Running around third is Fryman. Fryman's being sent. The throw, the relay is not in time. And just like that, a no-out triple from Greg Jones throttles the Anglers into a 2-1 lead over the Harwich Mariners, as that was a rocket down in the corner. And just a couple extra seconds taken off on the relay throw from right field. As the throw went up towards the third base line, and Driscoll's able to block it, but Greg Jones delivers a big hit as he's now driven in both runs for the Anglers this evening. And now you wonder if Angler will make the pitching change or not.
Beeline back in the 6th inning. Ran himself into some trouble. Had the bases loaded with 2 outs, but was able to work out of it. But in the 7th inning, he has had nothing but trouble. It was a leadoff walk and then a triple to follow that up. And the run is in the bottom of the 7th inning. So he stays in the game. Mariners infield is in, as Logan Driscoll's going to walk out to have a chat with him.
And there's also a pinch hitter on for the Anglers. It is John Rave out of Illinois State. He had the night off this evening in 38 plate in at-bats this year. He's batting a .316 with also a home run and 5 runs driven in.
Rave had a 6-game hitting streak earlier this season, but recently he's struggled. He's 0 for his last 7.
It's just like that as Driscoll went right back down the crouch. Coach Engler would come out. It was just maybe to buy some time. As maybe Beeline's night may be done as Engler looks down towards the right field corner. And Jackson Gillis will head back into the game for the Harwich Mariners after a triple from Greg Jones. Will put the Anglers on top now with the score of 2-1 as Beeline will get an applause from the crowd as his work is done for the evening. So we'll head back into commercial break to sort out all the details as Jackson Gillis heads to the mound. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside of Veterans Field. As we said, the pitching change before for the Mariners. It is Jackson Gillis out of Vanderbilt. Gillis so far, the left-hander, pitched in 2 games, making his 3rd appearance on this Young Cape League season. 4 2/3 inning pitch, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 3 strikeouts. With a .92 ERA, he did take the loss in the extra inning affair against YD just a few days ago. But so far from Gillis, he's pitched a couple solid innings. We're talking about the bullpen. If it can continue to be sound, continue to be solid, it can't help the Mariners win a couple more games as Greg Jones' triple has put the Anglers ahead here. I almost keep wanting to saying the A's, but that's, you know, their old name, the Chatham A's.
And they've kept a lot of that the same, though. They still have the letter A, and they've got a hook that is in the shape of an S, so they almost look like the A's still. That's their logo.
Yeah, they'll fix the scoreboard out there instead of A's as the Anglers now. It's actually the scoreboard was given by when the movie Summer Catch was filmed here. And scoreboard came with it, so they got a free scoreboard, and thanks to filming the movie here. So John Rave still pinching it on, lefty-lefty matchup. So Engler might actually want to go into the matchups. We're on third. Infield is in. Gillis comes set from the belt. He fires a fastball in there for a strike on Rave. This is all damage control for Gillis now. Here with nobody out and a runner on third. The 0-1 is swung on and a foul ball that hits off a tree branch just above us. Comes right back into the stands. As Gillis is ahead in the count now. No balls and 2 strikes on the left-handed Rave. Two-1 Anglers lead. Rave looking to extend that here with Jones off a third. Well, the pitch. This is outside for a ball. Looks to be a waste pitch there, trying to get him chasing just a little too far off the outside corner as the count is 1-2 on Rave. Gillis gets the sign. The 1-2 swung on and a foul ball drifting foul towards the third base side, and they'll do it again at 1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch from Gillis. Fastball runs off the outside corner. Rave. The count back at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Gillis has a couple of bases open, so while he doesn't want to have to walk a player, if he is throwing some pitches outside the strike zone trying to get swings and misses, he may try to do that if it can preserve this lead and make it so that there aren't any balls hit in play.
However, he's now run the count full after the off-speed pitch bounce in the dirt. So 3-2 with a run on third. Gillis, a native of Wilmington, Massachusetts, so kind of a local kid around here. The 3-2 to Rave. Pitch is swung on a line drive over towards left field. Laying out as the diving left fielder, Gallen, but unable to make the catch as it drops in. As Jones will score. And in the second base is Rave, as it looked like Gallen might have trapped that ball over there. So Jones will score from third as the Anglers now lead this one 3-1, still with nobody out. It only gets worse now as Tristan English steps in from the right side. He's been a little quiet tonight. Grounded out in the first, struck out in the fourth, and reaching an error in the sixth. As always happens, you know, we always say these guys are due at some point. You can't keep them quiet for long, especially English. Lefty-righty matchup, first pitch just misses the bottom of the zone. So a double for Raves help extends this lead now for the Anglers to a score of 3-1. Rave, who came as a pinch hitter for Arenas. The 1-0 runs inside. As dancing on the way was English, and Driscoll had extend the mid there as count is 2-0 now on English. Gillis gets his sign from Driscoll. The 2-0 pitch. Pitch is swung on a pop fly over towards the third base side, but it'll find the seats as Logan Driscoll gave it a look. This count is now 2 balls and 1 strike, as kids around here will just swarm to any foul ball off to any side. Shadow wearing their home pinstripe blue and white. They've worn for years. Harwich wearing their road grays. English will step back in with his white shoes and white batting gloves. Gillis comes set. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed by English. Just couldn't quite make contact with that as the count is even back up now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So man on second, nobody out. Gillis came on for Michael Beeline. 2 runs already across for the Anglers this inning as now lead this one by a score of 3-1. Gillis looks back. The runner at second, 2-2, swung on a high fly ball. Driving out to right center field. Rivera under it, and he catches, tagging up towards third now is Rave, and he's in there. As he really threw as late as Casals will stop it. So with 1 out now, Rave able to move 90 feet closer towards home as he tags from second to third.
Now batting for Chatham, the third baseman.
However, an out is recorded after
number 5,
a fly out towards English, but it was deep enough for Rave to tag. As Ben Ramirez will set to do work from the left side. There's a red bat, don't see that very often. So with 1 away, runner on third. Ramirez struck out his last time out as the first pitch is swung on a fly ball out to straightaway center. Gorski moves a couple steps to his left, catches it with some momentum, throw it towards home. And it'll run up towards the first base side. Might have been in time, but not very, just a little off target there.
Yeah, it's a nice throw from Gorski in center. He had the power, and he used the mechanics were generally right. He took a couple steps back, made sure he had his momentum headed to home plate. But it's awfully tough to make a throw from that deep in center field. It was over 200 feet from home plate, probably 250 or so.
Yeah, it might have been, he's a little off. He almost threw it exactly where he fielded the ball, so his momentum might have gone too far to his left, and the ball ran up towards the first base side. However, there are 2 outs here with nobody on after the sac fly is trying to bunt his way on is Blake Sable. So that's a sac fly for Ben Ramirez. He does his job. So back-to-back flyouts. However, able to advance only from second to home was Rave as he scores. So Anglers lead this one by a score of 4-1 over the Mariners.
So 2 of the runs are charged to Beeline. He threw an inning of work, allowed 1 hit, allowed 2 earned runs, walked 2, struck out 3. That's his final line. Gillis so far has thrown 2/3 of an inning, allowed 1 hit, 1 earned run, yet to record a strikeout.
So after the curveball runs off the plate on the outside half, count is 1-1. Gillis from the windup pitch is swung on a high fly ball over towards the right field corner, and it is out of here. A solo shot off the bat of Blake Sable. It curved perfectly in curvature with the right field pole as the Anglers now lead this one by a score of 5-1. They've scored 4 this half inning, and Blake Sable just gets enough of that one as it lands up on the hill in the right field corner.
Yeah, out in right field at that foul pole, it's about 314 feet, and he hit that ball maybe 5 or 10 feet beyond the wall. It was just barely getting out of here. Hit the ball probably 320 feet or so. Any other part of the ballpark, it's a long fly out, but down the right field line, it's enough for a solo home run. And the Anglers continue to pile on some runs in the bottom half of the 7th inning.
So Mariners trail now by a score of 5-1 over the Anglers. Gillis facing left-hander Drew Mendoza now, as he takes a first pitch fastball in there for a strike. Mendoza is 0 for 2 with a walk this evening. Looking to collect his first base hit as a curveball runs up top of me. It's a squat down. As it is a 1-1 count now on Mendoza. Pitch is swung on a deep fly ball over towards center field. Tracking back to the warning track is Gorski. And he'll make the catch after Mendoza to the deepest part of the ballpark. However, the Mariners trail by a score of 5-1 after 4 runs scored in that half inning, including a home run from Blake Sable, a sac fly, and a RBI triple from Greg Jones. So heading into the top half of the 8th inning, listening to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside of Veterans Field for the top half of the 8th inning. After a 4-run bottom of the 7th inning, it is Chatham 5, Harwich 1. So Zach King on his 3rd inning of work for the Mariners. His line so far is 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. Also set to face the 9-1-2 hitters. Ben Norman will lead things off for the Mariners. Lefty-lefty matchup. King will do things from the windup, and the first pitch is in there for a strike after Norman squared around, but it's in there anyway for a strike.
As we saw last night, the Harwich Mariners are not out of it until it's over, as they scored 2 runs in the top of the 7th, 4 in the top of the 8th to tie the game.
As Norman checks swing with a fastball runs too far inside, as the count is 1 ball and 1 strike now on the designated hitter Norman.
And they could for sure use another 4 runs right now to tie this game.
And it'll go a long way if Norman can get on here against King, as he takes a big swing at that one, but couldn't quite make contact. So count is 1 ball and 2 strikes on Norman now.
Norman has struggled to the plate as of late. No hits in his last couple of games.
If you just collect a couple base hits here and there, might get things going for them after a pretty good start to the season. That was chopped over towards first base. Nice hop for English off the grass, and he'll step on first for the first out.
The left fielder, number 4.
So with
Chris
Norman
Gallen.
retired, here is Chris Gallen, leadoff man out of Boston College, playing left field tonight.
And just to give you an idea of how well the starters did tonight compared to the bullpen, if you combine the numbers for both teams, the starters pitched 9 2/3 innings, allowed a total of 7 hits, and no runs.
As Chris Gallen takes a first pitch fastball on the outside corner for a strike.
And the bullpens, on the other hand, pitched a total of 4 2/3 innings and have allowed 5 runs.
As the 1 runs up and outside for a ball, and Gallen counting him back now at 1 ball and 1 strike. With the top lineup coming around now, could mean something for the Mariners, maybe generate some offense. 1-run fastball, 1's outside for a ball. Count 2 balls and 1 strike on Gallen. Gallen so far hasn't had a hit. After he got the night off yesterday in Orleans. The 2-1 from King. Pitch runs up and out of the zone for a ball. Count is 3-1 now on Gallen. And if you're King, you don't want to put a pitch in there really for Gallen to hit. As threw one at the letters, Gallen doesn't like it, but he'll head back towards right here's batter's box. He was almost ready to walk down the first base line.
Yeah, he thought the pitch was a little bit up, and it's important to keep Chris Gallen off the base paths if you are King, because he has so much speed. All of a sudden, a walk can be a double or even a triple because he's able to steal bases.
As the 3 threw a swung on a miss and foul tip into Kale's mid. So quick 2 outs here for King.
Danny Casals.
So with 2 away now here in the top half of the 8th inning, it is Danny Casals.
Casals has been red hot tonight, 2 for 3. Going back to last night's game, he's 4 for his last 5 at the plate.
He's continued.
Singled back in the first, struck out looking in the 4th on what he thought was a walk, and doubled in the 6th. It was a pitch that was just barely on the outside corner, and he thought was ball 4 on the 3-2 pitch, and called him out on strikes.
So after the first pitch missed up, the 1-0 is in there for a strike at the lower part of the zone. So count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. And Casals has picked up right where he left off yesterday, as you mentioned. The 1-1 is swung on and lined over up the middle towards short. Fryman come on, steps up, sets his feet, throw on the first for out number 3. So King works another 1-2-3 inning for the Anglers as the Harwich Mariners trail this one by a score of 5-1. At the end of 7.5, you're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside Veterans Field for the bottom half of the 8th inning. A new pitcher on the mound for the Mariners. It is Austin Wood out of Stetson University. Making his 4th appearance this year. Has pitched 2 innings. He gave up 4 hits, 6 runs, 4 earned, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So leading off is the 7-8-9 hitters as Nick Kale will get things going for the Mariners from the right side. Righty-righty matchup, and the first pitch from Wood misses just a bit upstairs for ball 1.
Back at Furman, Austin Wood threw 19 innings of work. He allowed 19 earned runs. Had a whip of over 2 as well.
The 1-0 misses for a ball. Count is 2 balls and no strikes now on Austin Wood. As the 2 was swung on a high pop-up in the infield towards the third base side. Shunk locating the ball and able to make the catch for out number 1.
Now batting for Chatham, the left fielder, the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, number 31, Ashton McGee.
So with 1 away here in the bottom half of the 8th inning, Mariners trail 5-1. It is Ashton McGee, the left fielder, 1 for 3 this evening with a single back in the 5th. Digs in from the left side, righty-lefty matchup. And the first pitch from Wood runs outside for a ball. The 1-0 is swung on a foul off towards the Chatham on deck circle. County was up now at 1 ball and 1 strike. McGee out of North Carolina, native of Goldsboro, North Carolina. Actually graduated high school early to enroll in UNC back in 2016 as the 1-1 pitch misses just a bit outside, low and outside for ball. 2-1 is the count on McGee. As that one misses high and outside for ball. Fastball had a little bit of velocity down, a little pop from the catcher Logan Driscoll's mitt as the count is 3-1 here with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th inning. Temperature still a little cool here at Veterans Field as a 3-1 swung on and a ground ball back to 1. He'll field a run over towards first, and they're going to toss. Lipsius is in time, so 2 up, 2 down for Austin Wood. He's retired the first 2 hitters.
And it's good to see Austin Wood getting some outs early on. He struggled in his first 2 innings of work. He threw an inning versus Bourne, allowed 1 run. Not recording out versus Yarmouth Dennis when he allowed 3. Had a good outing versus Hyannis when he did not allow an earned run, and he's looking pretty good versus Chatham.
And a pinch hitter on for Brandon Fryman is Austin Wilhite out of Georgia Tech. Steps in from the right side. One of a couple of Georgia Tech players we've seen this evening from Chatham as Logan Driscoll will walk out towards the mound to talk to Austin Wood with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. 5-1 Anglers lead. Wilhite hitting a mere 105 average in 19 ABs this season. Has yet to get things going. He struck out 15 of those 19 at-bats as a first pitch. Fastball's in there for strike 1. Pitch is swung on a line over towards the Harwich bench as they do the old lay down there on the end over there as it came in over towards the Mariners dugout, almost into the dugout.
You mentioned he struck out 15 of the last 19 times. Also, each of his last 5 at-bats have resulted in a strikeout.
So Wood ahead here. No balls and 2 strikes. The 0-2 is swung on and missed. Curveball gets him swinging as the Anglers go down 1-2-3 here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Listening to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside Veterans Field for the top half of the ninth inning. And a little bit of an awkward situation here is on the mound for the Chatham Anglers is a left-hander, Andrew Miller. And for those of you who are Cape League gurus, I guess, in a way, Andrew Miller, who pitches for the Cleveland Indians now, pitched here in Chatham. And he is also left-hander. He's also kind of an end bullpen guy and a closer. So two Andrew Millers is a funny comment they made this year with Andrew Miller. They said Andrew Miller 2.0 is now pitching for the Chatham Anglers.
And Andrew Miller had a very good year at Maryland back last season, a 0.82 whip, a 1.96 ERA. As he looks to retire the Mariners in the top of the ninth.
The Mariners trailed this one by a score of 5-1 after Chatham able to blow open the door in the seventh inning with a 4-run seventh.
And just to recap how he got here, it was a run in the bottom of the third from the Chatham Anglers. It was actually an unearned run that they managed to score. Mariners had a double from Casals and a single from Shunk to tie the game at 1-1 in the top of the sixth. And then in the bottom of the seventh inning, 4 runs crossed home plate for the Chatham Anglers, and they lead this game 5-1.
So pinch hitting for Aaron Shunk will be Ray Gill here in the top half of the ninth inning.
Mariners trying to get some different guys some at-bats. Gill hasn't been in the lineup very frequently over the last couple of weeks.
Just to get him some ABs. So nobody on, nobody out here in the top half of the ninth inning. The left-hander Miller set from the windup. The first pitch is swung on and missed by Gill. Fastball. As count is no balls and 1 strikeout to Gill out of the University of Miami.
Hey, Gill has only played once since June 22nd. That was versus Katuitt.
Lefty-righty matchup. The 0-1 is swung on and missed again by Gill as he's quickly in the hole now. 0-2. As Miller works quickly here. 2 pitches, 2 strikes so far on the right-hander Gill. The 0-2 pitch is swung on and fouled off behind home plate. It will find the seats as the crowd begins to dwindle here from Veterans Field, which is a strong crowd this evening. Obviously one of the more attractive tourist fields here on the Cape. The 0-2 to Gill. Curveball is in there for strike 3, and Gill goes down on strikes. So with 1 out here in the top half of the ninth inning, it is Andre Lipsius.
Lipsius reached base 6 times last night. He was red hot. He was 2 for 3 at the plate, had 2 regular walks, 2 intentional walks, but tonight he's 0 for 3.
As he kicks some dirt around from the right side, awaits the first pitch from Miller. Miller from the windup. Pitch runs up and out of the zone for a ball.
And possibly the most impressive part of what Chatham's been able to do, they have only walked 1 batter. And they've only walked 1. They've allowed just 4 hits.
As Lipsius takes a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Can't even back up now at 1 ball and 1 strike on the right-hander.
For the most part, they have simply kept Harwich Mariners batters off the base path. It's that simple. And if you're not going to be able to get many base hits, you're not going to score many runs.
The 1-1 is fouled back into the screen, and it'll actually almost pop over the netting there as it hit off the brick top part. So 1 ball and 2 strikes count on Lipsius. And that's one thing, that can really hurt a team if you begin to walk guys and collect the goal base hits, and it's an extra base runner, and those walks usually can become runs, as they always say. So with 1 out here, nobody aboard, 1-2 count on Lipsius. Miller from the windup. Pitch runs just a bit inside as Lipsius checks swing. Did not go, said the first base umpire, Tyler Bullock. So count evens back up now at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Lipsius. Except for Lipsius looking to get on base for the first time this evening, and now would be a great time to do it here in the top half of the ninth inning and trailing 4 runs. As a 2-2 runs up in the zone for a ball, count runs full. Lipsius came in batting .290, hit his first home run yesterday in the win over Orleans back in the first inning. Really got things going for the Mariners, but then things went pretty cold yesterday. The payoff pitch to Lipsy swung on a high fly ball, drifting towards the bullpen area, but it was drifting foul towards the bullpen area. Would have been for extra bases, but just a little bit late on that one was Lipsius and just didn't drop in. So Lipsius will take a walk back towards the right side.
It was only about 20 feet short of the home run of the fence out there in right field. He had a real shot at getting a home run down the right field line, but it just drifted foul into the Mariners bullpen, as you noted.
Would have probably one-hopped the walls and one-hopped in a nice catch over there down the bullpen area by Harwich Manor. So Miller would do it again with 3 balls and 2 strikes. The payoff pitch from Miller. That's a high fly ball over towards right field. Drifting back as a little bit as Full Heaps trailing back and actually ends up at the warning track for round number 2 as the ball just continued to carry.
Yeah, he probably hit that ball about 310, 315 feet out towards right field. And the right fielder, Sable, kept on going back and back into the warning track and ultimately had to make a catch as he had to jump for that ball as it was going over his head.
The wind was blowing out to right center earlier, but especially with Lipsius with the right-hander, the ball is going to continue to tail as it hit towards the opposite side of the field. Taking it from the left side is Nate Eichhoff.
The wind not super strong right now.
As the first pitch is chopped over towards first. Picked up by English. He'll step on first, and now he'll do it here this evening as the Mariners fall by a final score of 5-1 as these two teams face off for the first time this year, and Chatham takes game 1. That's awesome. What are your thoughts by this Mariners side this evening?
Well, I thought the starting pitching was very strong from Jack Dreyer. Dreyer pitched 5 innings of work tonight, and he only allowed 5 hits, walked 1 batter, not allow a single earned run. So he was very strong tonight. I liked what Jack Dreyer did from a starting pitching as a starting pitcher tonight. Beeline came in afterwards, and he struggled a little bit. He struggled in his first inning of work, but was able to work out of it without allowing a run, and then he came in to start his second inning of work in the bottom half of the 7th, and things went south from there as he allowed a base hit and a walk, and all of a sudden he had to come out of the game with a runner on third base. Jackson Gillis came in, and the Chatham Anglers tacked on another couple of runs. So the Mariners bullpen was unable to hold up what the starting pitching did tonight for the Harwich Mariners. The bats didn't really come alive in a big way. They had just 4 hits. So aside from the strong starting pitching tonight, there aren't a lot of positives from the Harwich Mariners. A couple of guys had decent games. Danny Casales had a couple of hits. Nate Eichhoff had a solid hit, and Aaron Shunk had an RBI, but really that was it. The Mariners' bats didn't come alive. They didn't get enough runners on base, and as a result, they were unable to win this game.
Yeah, we talk about the walks again. I mean, think about the 7th inning. A leadoff walk ends up coming around to score as Greg Jones triple. So I think, you talk about that in the bullpen as well when Beeline came on. He only walked 2 guys, but those 2 walks were kind of big in a way. I mean, and they almost threatened in the 6th inning as well, but Beeline was able to work out of it. So just a couple opportunities for the Chatham, able to convert in the 7th inning. But again, the bats weren't, all that alive for the Mariners. Only 4 hits and 1 run. So we'll see if they can try to get things back on track tomorrow as they are home back at White House Field for the first time in a few days as they face off against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who had a little bit of a winning streak themselves, had a 5-6 game winning streak going on, as they are also winless against the Harbor Hawks this year with a record of 0-2. But we'll see you tomorrow night. First pitch at 6:30. Pregame show starting at 6:15. Don't forget to watch out for the Mariners Minute video after this post-game show. And that will do it from Veterans Field with a final score of Chatham 5 and the Harwich Mariners 1. I'm Thomas Dillon for my broadcast partner Austin. We say so long until tomorrow.